on? It's Thursday night. We all know what that means. It's Lumberjack Landlord hitting you live to talk real estate. And yeah, we got some problems, folks. Just started going and doing our end of year review where we kind of look back at the rest of the year and try to understand what the next year is going to have for us. And it appears as though we are well on our way to making a absolutely phenomenal, never imitated, never duplicated, but it looks like it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Yeah, you heard me say it. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath when it comes to insurance. Guys, it is not good news. It's actually going quite poorly. Looked at a lot of our policies, and as you guys know, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on in doing what we do is we want to make sure that we're keeping track of expenses and managing the business and operating it as great operators do. And so as we've kind of gone through this process, what I realized is, we have some of the highest deductibles in the business. We're running at 10, 15, 25,000. There's only a couple that are at 10. But there's a lot of them that almost all of them are at 25. And so what's interesting about that is, so I started looking at rates, and, these are, I just took a sample, like 4 or 5 different properties, and we're talking about over a 3-year period. We're talking about, in some cases, a double, and I have no claims. And it's still doubled. Now, recognize how insurance markets largely work is that it's often replacement value. And for the last 2 years and 3 years, any losses have translated into extremely expensive rebuilds. The 2, the 300% what they were back 10 years ago to build a house. That's why you see a lot of stuff selling at 250, 350, 450 a foot. We just saw a new neighborhood go up, and yeah, they're selling at about $400 a square foot. Guys, that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. But as we're looking at the insurance rates, we're actually seeing a number of these that have doubled. We're going to be doing there's this kind of like bloodbath series that I want to do because there's 4 main areas that this is really affecting people. One of them was really the real estate market and what stuff is selling and what stuff isn't and how long stuff is sitting there. There's also this, which is insurance. You guys will see what I'm going to talk about the next 2 weeks. We will have a live stream next week, the day after or 2 days after Christmas. But guys, this is really concerning because to pointing out maybe what's obvious, but I want to point it out just in case it's not obvious. This is one of the reasons I hate single family houses. It's one of the absolute reasons I hate them. The costs that I'm seeing with some of the investors that I'm working with, not partnering with, but that I'm working with, they've hired me for consulting. They've hired me for, they're in the boot camp, and we're talking the boot camp. What's amazing to me is these properties are no longer making any money. Guys, think about that. Between tax increases, and that happens in pretty much every state but California. There's only a couple out there that basically have that the property values or that the property taxes are set based on the value of when you purchase. It's a really cute idea, but that's why you have 13% income tax. That's why you end up having a 13% income tax in the state of California, is because they can't get more revenue from properties that have sold until they actually sell. In a lot of other states, most other states, there's a property revaluation period. And that happens every 6 months to a year where the rate will either go up or the assessed value of the property will go up. Obviously, with all the assessments going up a crazy amount in the last 2 or 3 years, the rate didn't have to go up, but the assessments did. So every year they were raising the assessment, they were just able to keep the rate exactly where it was. So one of the things that, excuse me, frog in my throat. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot of now, again, is insurance. So I saw a doubling over a 2-year period. We've had some policies that were 2,200, 2,300. We just priced another one, which is what's called a builder's risk policy. So when we're doing a project in a given property, we actually had the jail as an example. We bought that insurance right when we closed on the jail. Now, we didn't start work on the jail for 6 months, but we wanted to have the appropriate and the right type of insurance in place just in case anything happened. It's insurance. We wanted to have it. So we get the insurance, and it was about $5,700, $5,800 for the entire year. It's kind of expensive, but it's based on the fact that we had $1 million of a project ready to roll, and that we had about $1 million that we were going to be spending. And so the way that they set these builder risk policies is they set it based on how much is left in the budget and what that number actually is. So this type of insurance is largely kind of expensive. However, again, $5,800 for 12 months. Well, that 12-month period just ended. And so I went to go get another an extension, basically a 3-month policy. I think we'll be all wrapped up by then. But I went to go get another 3-month policy. I'll have to wait for a warm day, and I'll give you guys another tour of the jail, but there's no heat there yet. So it's frigid. It's cold, and it's gotten really cold here. So yeah, more than a little unpleasant. But that policy was like $5,800 for 12 months. I just renewed it for 6 months. It was $5,900 for 6 months. What the hell? That's insane. That's literally doubled since just a year ago, a doubling. So one of the things, okay, we know that all these insurances are going up. Now, what do we do about it, right? I'm not just let me bring you the problems and cry about it. Let's actually do something about it. So what are we going to start doing about it? Here's what you need to start doing. You need to get in your portfolio. A lot of you escrow your insurance and your taxes in your property payment at your bank. Totally fine. Once a year, your bank is going to go through something called an escrow analysis. That escrow analysis for you is going to change your payment. It's going to change your payment. What you need to be doing is you need to be pulling number one, you need to be pulling all of your insurance bills from last year so you can understand exactly what the premium was, and then call your agent and ask them what the renewal is going to be. If it's a number you can live with, fine, no problem. But if it's a number that you can't live with, i.e., if you go from $600 to $700, who cares? That's $10 a month, basically. If you go from $600 to $1,200, you probably should be making some phone calls. You need to be making some phone calls. So that's what we've started doing. That's what we've already done. We've already moved a bunch of policies over from one carrier to another carrier. We have more that we're going to do. And then we have our big renewal comes in June. We actually just finished paying that off because we didn't write a check for one big one. We actually paid June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah. So that just closed off for us towards the end of November. We basically pay over a 6-month period, and it covers us for the rest of the year. Because with the reason that we picked that option is because it costs us, there's no premium to that. So if we went to 12 equal payments over a 12-month period, there is a premium to that. For our companies that we use, there's no premium for getting payments over a 6-month period. So yeah, if you're going to give me free debt, I'm going to take the free debt. It's not that we don't have it sitting in an account. I'm just going to take the free debt because there's ebbs and flows to it. And I'd rather do it at a cash flow. That's easier. So, I mean, our insurance bills now are over $100,000. And the crazy thing is that we were at maybe 5 years ago, we were at, $40,000 a year. And then it bumped to 60, but we bought a bunch of property, and then went to 80 and we bought a bunch of property, and then it went to 100 because we had bought some property, but now we were starting to see this stuff go up a lot. So what we actually ended up doing, or what I actually ended up doing, was going through the process and saying, okay, we've got to start moving some of these policies, and we're going to change our deductible. Just made sense, because an insurance company comes through and says, hey, that's going to be a $25,000 repair. No, it's not. I can do that same repair for like 10 grand. So why would I want to claim against my insurance? Why would I want to have them pay somebody for $24,000 to do that job when I know I can get it done for 10? and not get a claim on my insurance. I'll take the hit. I'll take the claim. I'll take the, I'll take the cash payment, not the claim. So this is what I ended up doing. And so we did that kind of across the board. However, when we did that, we went from over $100,000 in premiums to about $60,000 in premiums. However, the increases this year were so large, and quite frankly, over the last 2 years, they were so large that while we did that a few years ago and changed all of our deductibles, probably a half a decade or so ago, changed all the deductibles to $25K. The challenge that we have now is we're right back where we were. So think about that. We're paying exactly what we were paying maybe 5 years ago with fewer properties than we have now, and a $10,000 deductible or $25,000 deductible on basically everything. I think one building we don't have a $25,000 deductible on. So these are the things that I want you guys to consider. But again, what's the plan? The plan is break out the bill that you had last year, look and see exactly what it is. You can go online and you can actually check it out. Number 2, talk to your agent, understand what this year's bill is going to be. Number 3, every single property that happens to, just being lazy and keeping that with them, that might get you. So you want to be shopping those rates, looking at those other rates. And obviously the more properties you have, the better off you are. So it's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. But again, if you have one property, okay, might be worth a look. 2 properties, again, might be worth a look. If you have anything more than 4 properties, you could be talking about thousands of dollars that's no longer going to be ending up at your bottom line. You could literally, if you're doing a bunch of single families that you're making $350 or $400 a month on, your insurance and your taxes could bring you to a point where they cut your profits in half. And if you're been getting property managed, so they make $400 or $500 is your net, and you're getting $250, and now these insurance bills have only gone up a couple $100 a month with taxes. Guess what? I got bad news. You're not making $50 a month. You're a water heater away from losing 2 years of income. Again, that's why I don't like single family houses. There are arguments that can be made for singles in some parts of the country, but they're pretty few and far between. Because again, even like Millennial Mike he saw that his real money started coming in, his big money, his retire money, his financial freedom money. That money really started coming in when he started doing multifamilies, small multifamilies. 2, 3s, and 4s, I think some 5s and 6s, which are still okay, but vastly bigger than a single family, and not a big, huge asset like that you have to get variable rate debt on. So I want you guys to do those 3 things this week. It's up to you whether or not you want to do them. But if you do those 3 things, I'd love to talk about it next week, because we're going to be talking about another bloodshed moment next week. that's quite frankly, it could be even worse than insurance. I'm finding all this stuff out now because this is when I do my interview review. We're preparing 12,000 pages of documents. 12,000 pages of documents is what it takes for us to prepare our tax return, which is usually 250. Last year was 242 pages. This year it will likely be, I'm guessing, 270 or 280. But it takes us 12,000 pages of bank statements and mortgage statements and tax statements and water bills. And it takes us that much to actually get over the hump. And so, yeah, this is something you guys got to absolutely check. And you might be surprised. What you need to do is you need to start Googling what insurance company is trying to get into wherever your destination is. Maybe it's California, maybe it's Florida, maybe it's Texas, maybe it's Kansas. Whatever it is, you need to start trying to find out what companies are trying to go into your market and get share. If they're trying to get share, guess what they do? They buy the business, and that means they do it with lower rates. Those are the companies that you're now looking for. They'll try and get you next year on renewal. Fine. Next year's next year. I can shop it next year. It takes less than an hour or 2, and that's time worth investing. So let's jump into the questions. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Sorry. I know I keep on looking at my phone. My phone almost died, but we actually had somebody, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I had a little bit of an emergency in one of the properties tonight. Not a big deal. Taken care of. But I'm watching to make sure to support my guys. That way, if they have any questions, we can hit it. Old REI guy, Matt, thank you for the year full of inspiration, education, motivation. Old REI guy, Frank, you and Cynthia are very welcome. It's my pleasure. It's my honor to have been part of your journey. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for saying. But yeah, truthfully, it's been an honor. It's an honor to be part of any of your journeys, guys. I always try and bring to you exactly how we're running our business so you can decide whether or not you want to run yours that way and be as, I can't say you'll be as handsome because you don't have this man mane. But hopefully you can operate as well. Jason Calasabetta, good evening. Angel R, good evening, sir. R Freeman, happy holidays. All happy holidays. Wayne Wong, happy early Christmas. You as well, Wayne. Sean Lambert, good evening. Wealth Building Journey. Hey, Chester. I hope you're doing great. Wealth with Rentals. Hey, Matt. Hello, sir. BuzzTune, how are you? There's some chat going on. I love that. Wealth Rentals. 3 years ago, I paid $350 for $350 for a new built house insurance. It's now $1,000. Guys, this is happening, but it really started happening this year because of the number of years that they count backwards when they start reevaluating stuff. So this year is very important, but you want to catch it before it gets renewed. And if it was just renewed, ask them if you can cancel it and what your refund will be. Because there's something called earned. And that earned insurance, a lot of times you can get in the first 60 or 90 days, you can get a prorated amount back. Just watch that. Make sure you're watching any fees that they're trying to charge you for it. But this is absolutely, listen, elite operators look at every part of the balance sheet. And like I said, if you have anything more than a couple of rentals, you should absolutely be doing this. If you only have one or two, just kind of keep an eye on it, because what you'll see, and this is the surprise, this is where they get you, your payment was exactly the same for the last year, but now you're getting hit with the change in taxes in all likelihood and a change in insurance. And you could literally see your payment jump $200-$300, which now takes you out of the money. Don't want to see that for you, but at least if it's going to happen, at least know, because maybe you can go out there and, work your magic because Lumberjack told you to go out there and try and find a way, and you can actually, find a squirrel or find a nut like a squirrel looking for a nut. Angel R, these premiums can't be sustainable. The issue is that they're paying themselves back, Angel, because they had 2 years where they were replacing stuff at these crazy inflated prices. So this is where I believe you're going to see helping a seize of a market, because the affordability index, I know that Dion says it's broken. Largely it is kind of broken, but here's where it's not broken. Where it's not broken is, this same house was, $300,000 and now it's $500,000, and rates were 6%, but they went down to 3%, but now they're up at 7 or 7.5%. Again, all that stuff is fine. The issue is that if your taxes, I have properties where taxes have doubled in the last 3 years. They've gone from a $5,000 tax bill to a $10,000 tax bill, or even a $12,000 tax bill. Guys, I went from $500 a month to $1,000 a month, $1,000 a month for taxes. Then you add on another $200-$300 for insurance. That's $1,300. Now, my rents likely have outpaced that, but I don't know that they have. So I think that it's not sustainable. I think this is in large part what's killing deals. I was looking at a deal tonight, and the problem is that the insurance, which I pegged the insurance would be about $12,000. The insurance was $22,000. The insurance, not the taxes. The insurance was $20,000. That means it's an extra $1,000 a month. An extra $1,000 a month. It took a deal that was really nice in the teens down to not in the teens. Literally, it took it down single digits into the single digits. That's not a deal worth doing anymore. This is why I want to continue to talk to you guys about the bloodbath that's happening right now in the market, making sure that you guys are aware. Let's see. Angel R, my bank will let me pay on my own insurance. Yeah. So that does happen. One of the things that we actually do, true story, we're actually good with debt. So we actually take that and we look and see which card is offering the biggest point bonus and we just charge it. We just charge it and we pay it off in full. So I've racked up almost 3 million miles on one card, and I've racked up one of the cards is like an MGM card, which is awesome because when we go out, I'm platinum. I stay for nothing. It's pretty cool. I won't lie. I'll tell you, it's pretty awesome. Fire Nice, need more likes. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Give yourself a raise. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hyder, how's it going? Hyder, good to see you, pal. REI Jared, Matt, is your EA taking on new clients? If so, what is his name? You can check out Main Bean Counters. His name is Bob Langworthy, but check out Main Bean Counters. That's the accounting firm he owns. I don't know if he's taking on any new clients. I don't. He's amazing. He's helped me better understand the game so much better. Just from a tax perspective, we still have quarterly calls. He's a really smart guy. And so we didn't do one in Q1 of this year because we had just filed our taxes, but we did one in Q2 and we did one in Q3, and we're going to do one next week because I just need to know, hey, do I need to go out and buy something expensive and depreciate the thing to avoid paying some massive tax bill or I'm better off just getting a car or something. Give me just 1 second, guys. Another message came in. Thumbs up. Just an investor that I'm working with, and I don't know why they're not watching the show. Shame on you. Let's see. Big Hill. I raised my deductible to $20,000 and it got me a price that I had years ago. Exactly right. The house is also underinsured by $100,000. Yep. This is my private residence though. So that's okay. I mean, $100,000 is in my eyes, $100,000 is okay when you're talking about that being maybe 10%. So if you're talking about $1 million home, I'm okay with it being underinsured $100,000. And here's why. I can work through my process and I can grind out $100,000 from the different vendors. I can grind out 10%. So I'm still going to be able to get it covered. I'm not okay if that's like a $400,000 house or a $500,000 house. I'm not okay there because no matter how much you could grind, like your name is Chastity on a Saturday night, and you're not getting that number down 20 points. You might get it 10. It ain't happening at 20. Ain't happening. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Huh. Good to go. Perfect. Sure. So he says he's good to go, which means he's probably leaving, which is good. Thank you, Kenny. I don't think he's watching, but thank you. He's great. All-nighter hider. I just parked, need to scoop some tools and go pull a dishwasher. Okay, have fun. Jared, Big Hill, Ryan, do you know the EA everyone uses? Yeah, so it's Bob Langworthy. That's who it is. Not for this year, by the way, thinking next year. Yeah, you got to get on there sooner than later. That's a tough go. Kim Bishop. Hi, all. Merry almost Christmas. Well, Kim Bishop lives on the West Coast from the East Coast. She grew up only about an hour from me. Always good to see you, Kim. Wealth with Rentals. How to check which insurance companies are trying to enter a state? Yeah, just Google it. Yep. Yeah, just a Google search. You can talk with a broker, but they're likely not going to tell you. And you'd be surprised. A lot of insurance brokers are like real estate agents, complete morons. Some of them are good. There's always some that are good, but there's a lot of them that are just complete morons. And they're just there punching a clock, waiting for the incoming call and going, yeah, sure, I can get you a quote on that policy. Wealth Rental. Yes. Thank you, Matt, for a great year. You guys are welcome. Truly, my pleasure. Honestly, it's an honor to be a part of your journey. I'm excited with where all you guys are going. Especially if you're taking my journey and trying to copy some of that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Andres Matos. Yes. Hello. So it seems that I have all of my 9 single homes in the metro Atlanta area and start buying small multi-fam properties. I'm only making like 30K a year cash flow. So Andres, that's exactly the issue that I have with single families. You've got 9 properties. And here's the way I look at this, right? You got 9 properties. You have 9 tenants. You have 9 roofs. You have 9 heating systems. You have 9 yards to take care of. That's a lot. And the challenging thing is that if you buy small multifamily, you at least diversify, you double the number of tenants. But one of the niches that I talked about for about 2 years, and it's not as much the case as it was, but for a long time, you could buy a single family 3-2 for 400 grand and a duplex 3-2 on each side was 500. Guys, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. That duplex with 2 3-2s rents out for only a 10% discount to a single family. I am burying people in returns. This is how you do it. You find the undervalued asset in your area and you value add. That's why I don't like single family houses. You know, they don't sell faster than they used to because you can get the same type of debt on a duplex as you can on a single family. That's why. How many duplexes do you think I own on my 52 buildings? I own a ton of them. I think I own like 30 duplexes. I love duplexes. I love them because you can buy them with the same type of debt you can a single family house, and I eliminate the risk. Another scenario. Husband and wife living in a house. Both of them have jobs. They both needed their jobs to qualify for the rent. Now, one of them loses their jobs, which I absolutely think is going to happen in the next year. Absolutely, it's going to happen. The problem is that now they can't afford that house on that one person's salary. They can't. They absolutely can't. But now what do I have? They might be paying a little. They might be getting far behind. I might end up having to evict them. I might end up going 2 months without rent. It's not like they call you up and go, hey, bad news. We just lost our job. No one does that. That's not what happens. They're just like, yeah, we'll try and get it together, but don't tell the landlord because they'll probably try and evict us. Guys, wrong way to do it. Call the landlord, talk to the landlord and say, hey, just so you know, I just lost my job. We do have some money in savings. And so we'll be able to keep things going on the reg. However, we just wanted to make sure that you knew. Cool. If you've been a good tenant, landlord's not going to care. He's going to say, no problem. I'll work with you. Let's talk about it. Blah, blah, blah. Absolutely happens, right? So the challenge is that you look at that for a duplex. Well, now I have the same concept, husband and wife in a unit. When I have those people in that unit, one of them loses their job. This side might not be able to pay, but guess what? This one side is going to cover my entire nut or most of it. So worst case scenario, I'm a few bucks out of my pocket. Or if I can just get them to just pay me half. Yeah, you'll run a balance, but just work to pay me half. You're much safer. That's why I don't buy single family homes. They don't make enough money. They just don't make enough money. And they're not nearly as crash resistant. Single family homes are not nearly as crash resistant because a lot of people with the jobs that are owning properties, those aren't entry-level jobs. Those are good jobs. So it takes them months and months and months to find a good job replacement. That's my theory. That's how it all ties together. Let's see. Rickert Property Group and Real Estate Brokerage. Hey, good evening. Good to see you. I have to sell, I meant to say. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sell, but you can sell. The other thing too is if you have a bunch of equity in them, I maybe don't sell all of them, but I start from the bottom up, my least favorite to my most favorite property. I start bottom up. I sold all my singles. I put all my singles on the market. One of them, so I sold one, I sold two. Another one is under contract. And we're due to close, I think in 2 weeks. We're due to close in 2 weeks. And then the other one, it wasn't selling, but then I did some investigation. I'm like, I can actually turn this thing into a duplex. Now that thing's going to print money. Here's the crazy thing. After I finish the unit for 35 grand, the house wasn't selling at 4.25. I can probably sell it for 550. or 575. I can actually sell it for 100 and a quarter more. Thank God it didn't sell at 425. If we got an easy transaction, yeah, I would have bailed. No problem. Take the house. No problem. However, I didn't get an easy transaction and it kept on just being a bear to fight. We rented that unit out within 3 days of being on the market for $2,800 for the top half. Now the bottom half is going to rent out for $2,000. I'm just waiting on the approvals from the town so I can start that project. And that's going to be the next project I show you, which is here's how you create a basement apartment. Here's the different pumps and things that you have to use. But now that property that used to rent out for $3,000 as a single family home, it's now renting for 28 upstairs, a $200 reduction. That's it. And we're going to get 2,000 on the bottom. So we're going to be at 4,800 a month, I think, kind of all day long. And we were at 3,000, an $1,800 a month increase. Right now, I own the thing outright, but I'm not going to take the $60,000 a year of income. I don't want that much money on the house. So I either A, can lever it up with debt. I can B, I can lever it up with debt, and I can lever it up with a decent amount of debt, and just make sure that I have my 20% income there and a 70% LTV. Or at that point, I can be done with it and I can sell it at that point. Both are options. REI Jared, you guys and gals are like my investment family, but my actual son wants me to see his new level he got in some game. I have to watch in Futureland. You guys are all awesome. REI Jared, always. Kids always, my man. Kids always. I walked away from an extremely lucrative career only because I wanted to spend more time with my kids. That was it. I'm a silly, silly man, but I love my kids. And my wife's pretty awesome too. Let's see. Oh, All Nighter Hunter. I was reading that, Andres. Yes, Andres Matos. So that means I have to sell all my 9 single family houses, buy multifamily properties. I'm only making $30,000 cash on. Sorry, here's a text. I think he's done. Just want to make sure he's okay. All done. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, good times. Night Jared, yes. Yeah, and again, I don't think you have to sell. It's not like this fire sale. I think you just take your least favorite and you start to find these other assets, duplexes, triplexes, quads. Some people say they're only in the bad areas. Usually there certainly can be, but I would be looking at the ones that you might have the most equity in or something like that. I just don't like an all single. So I don't like any portfolio that is all one thing, whether it's a Section 8 portfolio or an all single family portfolio or an all duplex portfolio. I don't have an all duplex portfolio. I've got a lot of them. I have a lot of them. And now what's happening in the market is you don't buy those singles for 400 and the dupes for 500. Now the singles are 400 or 420 and the dupes are 650. That gap exploded. And that concept happened as well with 3 and 4 units when Fannie and Freddie said, yeah, we'll let you do 5% down on that stuff. Overnight, they added millions of dollars to my balance sheet overnight. Oh, cool. I always ask my guys, I was like, hey, how'd the tenants take it? And because we want to know, because I want to know if I need to get out in front of something. And that's one of the things I rely on for my guys to give me an input is I expect them to explain what's happening to the tenant so the tenant knows. And then I want their feedback. And so he just gave me the feedback that they were super chill. They were super cool about it. They were ecstatic that we were able to be over there within 2 hours to work on the problem. And yeah, we're good. We're good. They're good. I'm good. I'm happy that it's good. Let's see. Absolutely a time for great deals only. Yeah. The challenging thing is in our market, you're not finding any great deals on dupes, tries, and quads. They're trading at a massive premium. People are finally getting this house hacking thing. We're seeing a lot of owner ox buy stuff. I saw a duplex sell for, or no, a triplex sell for 700 grand. It's a complete and total dump. 4 years ago, that was maybe a $399,000 property, sold for 700. Now they're moving into the smallest unit in the building. God bless them. Brilliant. And they're going to be paying, they're going to get about $4,000 a month in revenue on rent. So based on taxes, insurance, all in, they're probably going to live for free, even at 700,000. It's brilliant. I'm super pumped for them. I was kind of pissed because I wanted to buy the property, but I'm pumped for them. Update on jail project. Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier, Fire Nice. It's just horribly slow. It's really frustrating. When you are, so big fish, small pond when I'm doing duplexes, tries, and quads. Small fish, big pond when I'm doing anything like this that's, 7, 8, 10, 12 units. Because these guys they're the same size plumbing crews, 6 or 8 people, 10 people, 15 people. They're the same size crews that do 50 and 100 unit developments. So who are you going to listen to? You're not going to, make sure that the 10 unit guy is taken care of. That's not how it works. I get it. I get leftovers. So the plumbing guys are 3 months overdue. 3 months overdue. They're supposed to be done in September. The electrical guys, a few months overdue. Everybody's overdue, but we're starting on sprinklers. We got our sprinkler plan. We got our fire engineer. We got our sprinkler plan. Sprinklers are going to start getting done. Actually, I think it's end of next week. They expect to be done middle of January. And then once sprinklers are done, we insulate and then we finish line this thing. We insulate and then it's sheetrock, flooring, finish, trim, and kitchens. And we're bolting. We are bolting. Yeah, true story. True story. Wealth building journey. Matt, I don't believe Bob is taking any more clients. I signed up back in May or June, and I believe he was not taking any more new clients back then. Yeah, quite possible. I know that he's added to his staff. He's added a couple of people. I just, like I said, I honestly don't know. BuzzTune, super sticker. Thanks, BuzzTune. I appreciate you, my man. I appreciate you. Angel Art, when you say charge the credit card, does that mean you pay insurer directly and then get reimbursed by the bank? No, it means I pay on my credit card. So I actually call them and say, yeah, I'd like to make my payment on my credit card. If they charge me 3%, I wouldn't do it, but they don't. They don't charge me the 3%. So what do? I call up and I go, yeah, let me just put that on the credit card. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll take that payment. They take the payment and I get all the points. I just pay it off when the bill comes in because it's not accruing interest. Interest doesn't accrue as soon as you make a charge. Interest accrues only after that billing cycle is over and you still left a balance on the card. So I pay my cards off in full. So I don't pay any interest. Some months I do pay interest on purpose because I also don't mind paying a couple $100 in interest I don't want to pay it off every single month in fear that the bank might just look at me and go, hey, you're just using us. We never get any interest out of you. And so you're a cost to us. And so I let them have a little bit of interest every now and again, but it's contrived. Wealth of Rentals. I raised my deductible to 10% and the bank wanted max of 5% deductible and they were not okay with me at 10%. Is that usually for banks? It is. It is. The bigger banks are definitely like that. The smaller ones will let you be lax a little bit. The way to overcome that is you talk to them about the amount of money that you have in the emergency fund. So for me, when I talk with the bank, I say, I want to run this deductible. They're like, yeah, we really don't like that idea. I'm like, but I have $100,000 in that in an account at any time. Now, what's the account that I'm pointing to? I'm pointing towards the security deposits. They don't know that that's a security deposit account. They just want to know that there's money that's available in case we need it. There's money available in case we need it. BuzzTune, switching from Travelers to State Farm. When you switch, are there insurance companies you avoid because of unreasonable list of repairs after the agent walks the exterior? That's a great question, BuzzTune. The challenge with that is that there's not, we do have 2 carriers, that we kind of ping pong back and forth with, we know that one carrier is more stringent than the other carrier. We know that for a fact. The problem is that it's still a person. And when you're working with some of these larger insurance companies, you can get a really good insurance person, as far as the one that, not the agent, but the risk assessor. We know some that are really good. We know some that are absolutely horrible. And we know when we get something, we're going to be like, you're going to have to come back out, or we get a much longer list and then we work with that list. Yeah. So yeah, it's something you try to avoid, but you can't really do it because usually these companies are so big that you don't know who you're going to get. Wandering Doc, what's up, pal? Good to see you, buddy. Fire and Ice, wealth with rentals. Yeah, my HELOC for a tiny amount wanted no more than 5% deductible. I'll be paying that off soon. Yeah, that absolutely can happen. Yep. Thank you, Matt, for freely giving of your time. Of course, guys, especially with the young ones, keeping you and Ashley busy. Oh, they certainly keep me busy. Yes, they do. They do. They're so much fun though. It's really funny. Thank God. My wife was talking about the youngest one today. And she goes, oh, and she's like, she just makes you want to have another one. I go, no way. No way. 4 is good. 4, 6 and under. I'm good. Thanks. REI Jared back. Thanks, Matt, for Bob Langery. Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. Ivan. Hi, Ivan. Hi, Mr. Lumberjack. Hi, Ivan. Good to see you. Have to get an RV in the back of the house. Do you have any recommendation with a budget of $20K? You know, as far as RV goes, I don't. One of the things I can tell you is that used market is getting obliterated. That is something where you need to find out somebody that is willing to basically, that maybe bought in 2020, that is looking to do subject to and basically let you take over their payments. You would be shocked at how how reasonable some of those payments are. But the people are like, yeah, we bought the dream. We're not really doing it. We're not really using it. We had friends that bought one. Not a joke. They bought one and went on maybe a 6 or 7 week road trip. They bought a truck for it and they bought the unit. I would be shocked if they used the thing 3 more times. Shocked. That trip did not go well. That trip did not go well at all. Didn't go well at all. So now they have a really nice truck, but they only really bought that truck for that, to tow that camper. And so, yeah, I would be absolutely looking 1000%. I'd be looking at something maybe a little bit older. And because a lot of people got rid of a lot of theirs, you know, when they went to trade in for their big, nice stuff a few years ago, and that stuff, is still secondary market. I would be looking at secondary market. I'd be looking at Facebook Marketplace. You'll find a ton of them available. And, some are willing to give it up for their payment. Some are willing to they already own the thing, but they know that the competition out there is just that there used to be a huge waiting list and now there isn't anymore for a lot of these. So I don't have any good recommendations. I don't have any good recommendations. That's the shortest way I can say it. I just wanted to kind of walk you through it the way I was thinking it. REI Jared, no worries. I just signed up on the website and I realized it's probably too late this year. Yeah, definitely too late for this year. I'm just wanting to get in the queue for whenever a slot opens up. Totally agree. Make sure you mention Lumberjack Landlord. I'm telling you guys, he has taken on clients when he said he wasn't because they said Lumberjack Landlord. Because I've asked him. I'm just like, I want to help you grow your business as much as I can. Go hire more great people because I know you hire great people as it is. So, yeah. Wandering Duck, don't worry, Matt. My parents have homes in New Jersey with an $18K tax bill. That's why I moved out of there. Sorry, Mom and Dad. This is it, guys. Like I'm telling you, I think the biggest property tax bill we have, I want to say, is like $31,000 a year. It's expensive. Yeah, it's really expensive. 31 grand a year. Yeah, it's coming up close to $3,000 a month. Ooh. Our Freeman, love my small multifamilies, my best investments. They almost always will be. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. I heard you got a book. Congratulations. I was so excited to hear that you won. That's awesome. I'm so cool. It's so cool. Andres Matos, I'm in Atlanta. Oh, Kenneth Lee. Yeah, guys, always connect on here. Your network is your net worth. REI Jared, thanks Chester for the feedback on Bob. I signed up on the site anyway to be in queue someday. Jeff Nash is good, but looking for more. Yeah, I don't know who Jeff Nash is, but I can tell you Bob Langwer is the bee's knees. He's absolutely amazing. I got audited. He helped us get through that process with very little pain. Very little pain. Yep. Very little pain. And we're not aggressive on our taxes at all. We actually got a bigger refund. We got a bigger refund. We didn't actually owe anything. We actually got a bigger refund. REI, Jared, once I retire in a year, I plan on buying small multifamily and keeping the singles until I can't handle the BS to income ratio. Absolutely. Yes. Stole that from Matt. Yeah, totally. You're exactly right. Yep. Yep. I don't disagree. When you own the singles outright because you've had the journey for quite some time, that's not the worst thing. The problem is when you have debt on them. That's the problem. That's the real problem with singles. Hey, Channel 6. Good to see you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Ivan, thank you for all the information in your course. I'm under contract for a single family to rent by the room in South Florida and excited to provide affordable living for students. Ivan, well done. My pleasure. Congratulations. Congratulations. I love that you're doing a deal. Congratulations. Angel R. On the past 4 years, everyone wanted a backyard. However, I've noticed that tenants these days are looking for less responsibility. What are your thoughts on replacing landscape with river rocks? I've done it. So here's another hack. So you can do it with river rock and that's fine, but here's the least expensive way to do it. Find out who the companies are around you, where you live, that are actually getting like the highway projects and the state road projects, the guys that actually blast stone. Here's why. They blast that stone, but then they bring it and they create aggregate from it. They create stone dust, they create gravel, and they create aggregate. It can be 3/4 stone. It can be 1.5 stone. It can be larger pieces of stone, like lot stone. But here's what's really cool. I go to the local landscaping company. Local landscaping company says, yeah, sure. We've got that stuff. It's $28 a yard, $28 a yard. And our delivery fee and our max delivery is 10 yards. And our delivery fee is $125. That means I'm adding another $12. So now I'm close to $40 a yard, close to $40 a yard. Get this. You know what the big company has to do? They got to get rid of that stuff. Their yard's only so big. No joke. So I called them and I said, yeah, what can I get a 10-wheeler for? An 18-wheeler, not a 10, an 18. I said, what can I get an 18-wheeler for? They said, he comes back, he gives me a calculation. He goes, yeah, so 10-wheeler. And I said, including delivery. He goes, no, yeah, sure. Of course. Including delivery. $2.25. It's 23% the price when it was all said and done. 23%. So there's another amazing hack brought to you by the Lumberjack Landlord. Call your local companies that do the road work. They very often have aggregate that they're trying to get rid of for free. What you're paying them a little bit of profit, but you're paying basically usually the cost that it takes for them to come out and deliver it to you. Now you got to take the entire 18-wheeler. Okay, no big deal. Whatever. I'll find spaces for it. I'll go deeper. I've actually gone deeper. Instead of just doing like a 2-inch coat, I've gone 4 inches deep or 6 inches deep. The key is you got to make sure that you're getting plastic underneath it because you don't want anything growing through your rock. That's one of the things you absolutely have to do. I crush that if I don't mind myself saying. Kenneth Lee, does Section 8 stop paying with government shutdown? Not right away, but they will eventually. Yep. Great question. Channel 6 San Diego, insurance quote on my fix and flip, $50K, no inspections, $100K, full-blown pictures, inspectors crawling around the house. I opted for the $50K because I have reserves. I totally get it. Smart. Totally get it. Angel R, in 2025, are smaller units in ADUs the way to go? I don't know. I think that that's more geographically desirable. I would love to do some ADUs, but the city won't let me. In a lot of places, they just flat out won't let me, which kind of bums me out. They just won't let me. And so we took a couple properties where it might be something that they allow in 2 or 3 years. I don't want to hold the single family for that long to hope that they might approve it in 2 or 3 years. So I sold it. Sold the single family because I'll take that money, I'll 1031, I'll put it into something else, and I will roll that next property, and I will make triple the money that I would waiting to see if I hopefully get an ADU. So I don't think smaller is always better because I'm trying to crack the tiny home thing where we are, whether it's 300, 400, 700. But I'm running into NIMBY, not in my backyard. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Wealth with rentals. Which brand of architectural shingles are best from Home Depot or Lowe's? One is Gaff brand. I like IKO or Certainteed. You're usually better off finding those at a lumber yard. Yeah. Yep. Gaff is all right, but the standard in the business is really Certainteed and IKO. Yep. Dion Talk Financial Freedom. What's up, buddy? Every time you hit the like button, an angel gets its wings. That's true. I can confirm. Wealth Building Journey. Matt's not lying. I absolutely name dropped Matt when I called NBC. Possibly give it a try. Yes. Yeah. Main Bean Counters. Absolutely drop my name. If Amy answers the phone, that's who his lead front end person is. Amy. If Amy answers the phone, she absolutely knows who I am. You can say, Matt, the lumberjack landlord sent me, and she will likely laugh. Michelle Meyer. Yes, I got a book. That reminds me. Oh, good. Oh, congratulations. Anna K made it. I will listen from the beginning tonight. Anna K, good to see you. Good to see you, Anna K. Trade Better. Good evening, lumberjack. Do you currently have a team calling by phone about your course? Yes, I do. But they're not calling about the course, to be very clear. What we're doing is we had done some free events. The free events that we had done, that if you signed up for that free event and didn't attend, you were still on the sign up list. We're just reaching out to people because those events went really well. People said the feedback was spectacular. What we want to do is we want to do another set of free events. And so when we do that other set of free events, we were asking people kind of the questions of, was it helpful? What stuff did you like? What stuff did you not like? What would be better about it? And then making sure that people say, then we want to ask, is there a certain part of, what you're doing in landlording that you'd like to be able to do better? And if it's something that we have in the course, we make sure that we just say, yeah, if you're ever interested, the course is there and available to you. And that's in there. That's in the course. So that is what we're doing. But Trade Better would love to have you put input down below if you're getting something different than that. Because obviously I'm not making those calls myself. I hired a company to do it just because I wanted to get feedback on how people felt those presentations went. Which I have to get posted. I actually have to get him to, I told Zub I'd give him a school one, which we will do. I'll give him a school one for sure. Wealth of Rentals. A neighbor learned that I do rentals and wants to give me a 2-story scaffolding. Guys, tell your neighbors what you do. Totally agree. I got a call off an Instagram post. Not joking. Somebody called me on an Instagram post. Yeah. Yep. And they're just like, would you be interested in this? And I was like, yeah, I would. Lead that they stumbled across from my Instagram post. Kind of crazy. Angel R. Last night, my furnace broke in sub 30. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Thanks to your advice, I had spare heaters ready to go. Replace the igniter myself. It's working now. Angel R, kudos to you, my dude. That is awesome. Guys, what he's talking about is there's something called it's called an oil-based heater. Don't use the ones that just blow hot air over a coil. Don't use those. That's where you have the most fire hazards. Do your own research, but the ones that we use are these, like, they look like radiators, but they're oil. There's oil inside. They're usually made by Pelonis, Pelonis. Don't use the cheapies. Use the little ones that are a little bit more expensive. When you first have heat go out, if you introduce 2 or 3 of those into a house, they're rated for 5 to 800 square feet, no problem. We put a couple of them in there because that can actually help bring the temp up if it's a decently insulated place. And it just buys you time. It buys you time with getting the repair done for the heat system. It's about a $250, $275 insurance policy. It's absolutely worth doing. You can find them online. You can buy them Home Depot, Black Friday or end of year sale. You can also find them on Facebook Marketplace. We find a lot of them on Facebook Marketplace. Sean Lambert, $31K a year for property taxes. I didn't know you own the Empire State Building. What type of building is this for? How many units? It's only 12 units. It's 12 twos. It's the biggest building I own. It's 12 2-bedroom units. 31K. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. Angel R. I'm growing fond of the electric baseboard heat, less maintenance, calls in the winter. It's true. The problem that you're going to have is with a really cold winter, they're going to see double to 3 times the heat bill. If you have solar panels, that's a different story. But if you don't, if you have geothermal, different story. It is less calls. I've seen those clips of there's some guy online talking about it. And quite frankly, they're an idiot. Because you're going to increase your tenant turnover by probably double at least, maybe even triple. When people in really frigid cold, because Angel, you're in Michigan, right, man? I think you're in Michigan. The problem that you have in Michigan is it's like it is here in New Hampshire, which is we can have a week of 0, we can have a week in the teens. Those electric baseboard don't really keep up that well unless you've really beefed up the insulation in the house. So you could literally have a tenant get a $500 electric bill. That is not going to go well. They're going to call you super pissed and looking for you to start bringing in an electrician, tell me what the problem is and how does this get so bad and bloody, bloody, bloody. Goes very poorly, very quickly. Yeah, very poorly, very quickly. Wealthwood Rental, what's your criteria for great electrician and plumber? Great question. Great question, Wealthwood Rentals. That's really good. So my criteria is just having a conversation with them. What do you experience with? What systems are you experienced with? I can work on anything. The last 10 jobs that you worked on, what did you work on for a heating system? If they don't mention steam heat, I'm out. If they don't mention oil, gas, and propane, I'm out. Excuse me. I need to know what they know how to work on. 1-pipe steam is very, very different than 2-pipe baseboard or 2-pipe radiator or even HVAC. So I have 2 primary guys, and it sounds like it's an oxymoron, 2 primary guys, but I have a primary guy for all of one thing and a primary guy for all of other thing, but they both can do the other thing. And so because they can do the other thing, I got in a pinch. I called somebody and he goes, I'm swapping a boiler today and tomorrow. I can't squeeze you in for anything. I didn't have heat. One of my units, that's not acceptable. Called the other guy. I said, hey, this is what I got. He goes, I don't usually do this for you. You picked up on it. You don't. Would you? He goes, yeah, sure. No problem. That was it. Done. That's simple. So my criteria is the systems that they're used to working on. What were their last 10 jobs? Are they a plumbing company and a heating company? Are they a heating company and they do HVAC and heat pumps and mini splits? I want the person that's the most diversified as possible, but actually knows their craft. If somebody gives me like a list, like I said, the last 10 projects they work on, did you work on any steam? No. Did you work on any HVAC? No. What did you work on? Natural gas, forced hot water. Like, sorry. I mean, that's not a lot of my systems. It's just not. And what kind of systems did you work on? And he starts listing them off. Oh, Wheel McLean and Badaris. You get the idea. But none of it was IBC. None of it was an IBC boiler. Well, guess what? Then you can't be my guy. I love my IBC guy. He's fantastic. He does a lot of plumbing for me too. He does steam heat for me as well. So he's a great fit for us. The only thing he doesn't really do is oil. And that's okay. Because we have another guy that does oil and he does gas and he does HVAC and mini splits. That's a perfect split. Is there a way to do cheap asphalt for a driveway? No. Nope. The cheap will become expensive. What they do is they'll get less aggregate and less top. So a lot of times we're putting 6 inches down. And that's because we're grading underneath and then we're putting down a nice subgrade and then we're putting 3 inches of hot top, sometimes 4 inches of hot top on top. A lot of times that's what we're doing. And with the way that they cheap out is they will use that height on the edges. And as you go towards the center, it gets skinnier. And then guess what? That's what starts to break apart and fall apart. It's not worth doing. It will look bad in 5 to 10 years, as opposed to I have driveways that I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago that still look awesome. And it's because we brought in the right guy. Ask them what their process is and what their grading, what they do for a substrate, and then what they do for hot top or for asphalt. Good questions, Wealth Rentals. Not that I'm surprised. Channel 6 San Diego for your next investment. Channel 6 San Diego. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's nice of you. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Let's see. Justin Stanley, about the question regarding Section 8 and a government shutdown. Do they give you back pay? Yes. Back pay. Yes, they do. Yeah, they have to. Yep. They absolutely do give you back pay. Yes. Yep. Summertime Santa. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's doing great. Merry Christmas. Summertime Santa. You as well. Family is doing great. Eliana was at the doctor's today. She does her scans every 90 days. And we got great news today that they're going to stretch out her scans. So we're still grateful for the miracle that we got and just super blessed. Had nothing to do with it. And it was just truthfully, it was a miracle. There's no one else alive from the year that she was diagnosed. No other kid lived. It's a miracle. And from the next year, we asked today. They said they didn't think so. So getting that cancer is a death sentence. And we're just super grateful to have gotten a miracle and gotten the outcome we'd prayed for. And that so many of you guys had supported us in. So yeah, grateful for that. Thank you. Craig Cameron, a Horizon shingle biodegradable right on the roof. So I've looked at those. It's intriguing. The thing that concerns me is what are those things going to look like 10 or 12 years from now, right? So polybutylene, look it up. Polybutylene was it was like the precursor to PEX. Polybutylene, great idea. The problem is that there ended up being a class action lawsuit because the joints would just pop and create these massive floods in houses. So polybutylene, it's like a gray pipe, but it's the precursor to PEX. I bought a house. Get this. I bought a house. I found it. I literally thought I found a lottery ticket. Because I was like, polybutylene. That's covered. They got a big, huge class action lawsuit. There's a trust fund with a bunch of money sitting in it. So I'm all excited about that. I'm like, listen, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, whatever, no big deal. We closed on the house. But I had talked to them and they had said, hey, yeah, you need to show us the house. You need to give us all the housing information. Give us some of the serial numbers on the piping, blah, blah, blah. So I do all that stuff. We finally close on the house. It had been delayed a little bit. We finally closed on the house. Guess what happened? They closed it. I couldn't get any money. I was like, oh, it's so typical. So typical. So I couldn't get access to it. So we ended up changing it all out. We changed all the polybutylene, but the cool thing was everything was already set up with clips and everything routing, where all we had to do was cut and rip it out and put in PEX. So it worked out okay, I guess. but I was bummed because I was staring down the barrel of getting probably $7,000 to $9,000 for the amount of polybutylene that was in that house. It's crazy. Crazy. She invests. I'm rehabbing my first property, a 7-plex. Damn. We're in the process of rehabbing 2 units at the same time. Not a problem. I just wouldn't do 7 at the same time. 2 old-time investors at an REI meetup this evening. Love that. Fantastic. Well done. This evening, they told me I need to do more of the work myself rather than working with a larger GC firm to perform the work. I don't like larger GCs for sure. They're definitely taking 10 points. Here's an example. She invests. I don't know if you took my course or not. That's one of the things that I pound people on, honestly. And here's the reason why. If you take the course and you understand how stuff works, you can be the GC. You can be the GC. They take 10%. If it's a $50,000 budget, they're taking $5,000. That $5,000 is a lot of money. 10% is a lot of money on a project. That's one of the things that we talk about in the course very often when we talk through projects. If you see Robert Farinelli, you'll see him on here. He was doing a project while he was going through boot camp. We talked about his project every single week. Kyle Dorn, same thing. We talked about his project every single week. There's a bunch of people that were going through projects every single week, and they were bringing up their questions that week on the boot camp call. Very, very, very valuable. I agree with those other REI investors. I don't know necessarily you need to be doing the blood, sweat, and tears sweat equity work yourself, but getting a GC out of there, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's absolutely ways to manage that project outside of a GC, 1,000%. Problem is my lack of skills and childcare cost me $20 an hour, the same rate I'm paying my handyman. Agreed. Do I need to boost my skill set to be successful long-term? No. What you need to make sure you're doing is getting the right person with the right skills. What kills people in these projects is the amount of time it takes them to do the project. So what you're better off finding is not a handyman to do a rehab. You're better off finding small crews. We talk a lot about this in the course. We talk a lot about this in the boot camp, but that's the focus that you need to have. And then there's all the qualifications of how you qualify them to make, and how you pay them and the materials, like all of that stuff. I can't cover it because, we've only got 20 minutes left, and I literally spend 2 hours of the course talking through that type of stuff. So I would tell you that you will boost your skill by hiring the right people. You will boost your skill. So if you didn't take my course, you probably should. If you did take my course, go back and watch it again. We talk about projects all the time, how to manage GCs, how to manage inspectors. Absolutely. We talk about that because that's a critical part to this business and being able to buy value add. Let's see. All-nighter. Yep. All-nighter's happy to help. Yeah. There you go. We are very interested in being IBC install repair. Will McLean's quality control and warranty support is terrible. Yeah, Norma, Fire and Ice. I know. I get it. Will McLean Gold. That was the standard. That was the standard back in the 70s and the 80s. They were absolutely crushing it. Those systems, I still have probably 5 or 6 of them from the 70s. I still have 5 or 6. I love those things. Now, not so much. I wouldn't replace it with one of those. If I had to go with a steam boiler, I'm probably going with a, what do they call them now? Are they under Badaris now? There was a big merger between 2 of them, Peerless and Badaris. That brand is pretty strong for one pipe steam. Channel 6 San Diego, REI guy, you're awesome. Appreciate your input and contributions. Absolutely. Frank and Cynthia are the best. Wealth Rentals, God bless your family. Thank you very much. Chester, that is a miracle, guys. It's a miracle beyond understanding. I mean, when you're sitting there in the room with a doctor and the doctor says, and they're somber, they say, I think I can make it through this. They say, we can get her started on comfort measures. So for those of you who have ever been in the hospital world, comfort measures means that they're trying to make you comfortable to die. That's what it means. And so, I cursed at the doctor. Still kind of sorry I did that, but not really. kind of, but not really. Or basically my answer was F that. I was like, we're fighting. We're fighters. We're going to fight through this. Whatever we need to do, let's fight. And he said, it's a long path. And she has a 92% chance, 92% chance of not making it. Not making it 4 months. 4 months. Well, she was diagnosed when she was 4 months old, stage 4 cancer, malignant rhabdoid tumor. You can look it up. Malignant rhabdoid tumor. Look it up. Massive death rate. They say online it's like 13% survival rate. It's not nowhere near that. Because it's such a rare cancer, they don't have a bunch of drugs for it. So they have to make a cocktail from drugs that are that work on a bunch of other cancers. So, and it's never going to get funded because there's only 25 or 30 kids a year that get it. So it's not going to get funded. And that's okay. And that's okay because I'm not going to sit there and say we must go. Guys, it's not reasonable. You can't spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a drug that's going to cure a cancer that saves 25 kids. You've got to go after the efficacy and what can save the most kids. You have to. You have to. And so that would be like, child's leukemia or like something called a Wilms tumor. That's got an 85% cure rate, stage 4. 85% cure rate in kids, stage 4. 20 years ago, that was 20%. So that's where you need to continue to spend the money to eclipse it and get it all the way down to 0. That's where you need to spend the money is where the people that have the biggest issues, that's what drug companies do. They spend the money on the people that have the biggest issue. Weight loss with Ozempic, there you go. Diabetes with Ozempic, there you go. Big crowd. Vaccines, there you go. A lot of people, right? That's what they build to. A lot of people. Big Hill, thank you. Yeah, it was a miracle. Wealth Rental, bless our family. Yeah, thank you. We are immensely blessed. Because after we still wanted to have a fourth. And so yeah, we had a fourth after having gone through all that with Eliana. We wanted to make sure she was, had more than a few visits of being clear and clean. And thankfully she's remained clear and clean. Justin Stanley, incredible news about your daughter. Miracles do exist. They absolutely do. Hide her. Wow. Thank God. I totally agree. What a miracle Christmas time for yes, Eliana. Yep. Close. Ariana. She always was named that actually, but her name is Eliana. My kids have all very weird names. Samuel Alexander, Bryn Everly, Eliana Grace, and Abigail Emelise. Yeah. My kids have weird names, different names. We wanted something different. Let's see. Wealth Notes. I talked to an electrician and he said there is a contractor pack for panels that come with breakers as well and not expensive. Possible. What electric panel and breakers do you prefer at your property? Square D or Eaton? I don't prefer Eaton or Square D. I prefer Siemens. I had the fewest issues with Siemens. So my preference is Siemens breakers and panels. What I would tell you is you don't have to pick Siemens, but whatever you do pick, try to stick with that one. When we have an issue with a breaker, we have all of the different types of breakers that Siemens makes. We have them in stock. When we have an issue with a panel, when we have an issue with whatever it is, we like to pick a winner and stick with that. And so Siemens are probably 95% of our panels or 90% of our panels. 10% of them are older that haven't been upgraded or updated. So yeah. Lin Tang. Hi, Lin Tang. It was a miracle. Yes. Wealth of Rentals. Angel R. My roofer says gaff sheds. Yep. Less granules than Owens Corning's. Probably. I don't use Owens Corning either. So we use only Certainteed or IKO. Yep. That's where we really focus. Kyle Dorn just turned in and you say my name. See, there you go. What timing? Boot camp was great. Kyle Dorn, thank you for saying that. So amazing class, guys. Generation 4. They were the 4th group to take on the boot camp. They were amazing. We had many 3 and 4 hour sessions. We only shoot for 2, but sometimes we end up at 3 and 4. If I can go, I go, and we keep it that long. Sometimes I can't. But 3 and 4 hour sessions, people finishing rehabs during that time, and projects and adding new rentals and doing deals and getting off market deals and seller financing. I mean, it's a huge blessing to be a part of. It's humbling and just a lot of fun to do with you guys. Class was great. Yeah. Matt, do any of your tenants have large dogs? They do. If so, how do you about wear and tear, or do you allow large breeds? We do allow large breeds with a large pet fee. So what we've done is we've gone to a $50 a month pet fee for these bigger dogs. That's $600 a year. I feel pretty good about that. If they chew some trim, if they chew a bedroom door, it's an extra $600 that I got paid for it being there, and I can still take that money out of the deposit. The key is we talk about it being a fee, not a deposit. That's the key. Kyle Dorn, missed the first half. Going to have to rewatch later. That's okay. Kyle Dorn, rental inspection scheduled for that property on the 30th. Thanks for all your guidance. Saved me big money. I don't disagree. I think that's awesome, but you did the work. Well, you and Taylor did the work. Taylor did a lot of work. But congratulations to you guys. Hyder, I just shouted Siemens at my son to make him laugh. I know. I giggled like a child too. It's funny. What can I tell you? Kyle Dorn, been working on an 85-year-old landlord for 2 years, following up every 6 months. He's ready to sell me 2 of his properties. Where'd it go? 2 of his okay, there we go. Ready to sell me 2 of his properties now on seller financing, 0 down, 0 interest, 30 years full amortized. Hot damn. Principal only payments of $196 a month. He's 85 years old, and his son, then grandson, will take payments after his passing. Oh, man. Love that. Good for you, Kyle. Guys, this is how it works. Your network is your net worth. Follow up. The guy, Kyle's made 4 or 5 phone calls to this guy, and now he's getting the deal of the century. Talk to me about how much money. You're making on those. What is that rent going to be? Want to hear that. Jason Callis about it. So happy free miracle. Yeah. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's been kind of a whirlwind. It's amazing to watch. She was bald and she was yellow. I mean, literally the chemo makes her yellow, or made her yellow. She was bald. She was yellow. She was still happy. She's still a happy kid now. She's by far my most aggressive child, and my most not obstinate, but definitely will dig her heels in really hard. I think that we would have had a much tougher time with the other kids had they had it, but holy cow, Eliana is just a powerhouse. It's kind of crazy. We might do something on Christmas Day, like so you guys can see the kids and meet the kids and that sort of thing. I don't know that we would get much more than 10 minutes out of them, but we probably will. We probably would. Maybe 10 minutes. Angel R, would you renew a lease for a tenant who's pay on time but have a large husky that's destroying the yard and seems neglected? So long as it's not bothering the other neighbors, yes. So long as the mess that the dog's making of the yard, you believe that you can cover with their security deposit. I would just want to see inside the unit. I would see how bad inside the unit is. That's what I would want to do. That's what I would want to see inside. Kyle Dorn, no celebrating yet. Deal not finalized yet, but that's the structure. I love the structure. That's phenomenal. Yeah, Hyder, you're exactly right. Such a score. Jason Calspetta, good luck, Kyle. Yeah. Jason, another one from the boot camp. We just had so much fun. I really enjoy. I look forward to my time every week with you guys. What's really funny is my wife was like, "Oh yeah, but you got boot camp this week." I said, "No, we finished last week," because she was always in bed. My wife was always in bed by the time I got upstairs from boot camp. So yeah, I think it's going to be nice because I think I'm actually going to get a date night this Saturday. Not that dating you guys wasn't fun, but She Invests. Thanks for the tip on the Home Depot appliance sale for a few live streams back. You're welcome. I got two 20 cubic foot fridges for less than $450. Oh man. And a gas range for less than 400. Major win. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. That is awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. I love hearing wins like that, guys. We spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time running my business. If I find something, if I find a pocket, if I can open up a pocket for you guys can run behind me on it. I'm always happy to try and find that stuff for you. Kyle Dorn, $70K per property. Yep. Duplex will rent for $800 to $850 a side. Single family $70K. 3 bedrooms rent for $1,350. Duplex needs about $30K worth of work. Single family needs about $23K. So you're going to be making $650 a month. Yeah, Justin, it's yeah. So it's just more. It's just more. Yep. My wife knew what she signed up for. It's just more. I got 4 kids. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, Kyle, those numbers are absolutely awesome. 850, so 1650 and then 1350. So you're going to be 1650 and 1350. You're going to be $3,000 on $400 a month, about $400 a month of payments. And so you're going to be able to return your capital 25. I mean, year 2, you're done. Year 2, you're done. That's awesome. Congratulations. Both rentals. I purchased a cotton snowball from Amazon for kids to play and pretend having real snowball fights in Texas. That's awesome. That's really cool. Kyle Dorn, 400 plus insurance and taxes. Yeah, dude, that's ridiculous. Yeah, like the return on that's going to be just astronomical. It's going to be absolutely awesome. That's killer. Yeah, Justin. Yeah, my poor wife. I mean, not really though. Not really. I always tease her. I'm like you've ever not been a satisfied customer. Who are you kidding? She laughs. She goes, oh, she's like, don't say that around people. She hasn't watched my live streams anyway. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic week. I will be talking one more thing about the Bloodbath next week. You'll see the new topic that I'm going to bring to you guys. I will also be giving an update to you on I don't know if I'll do it as a separate video. I might do it just as a live stream, but I will do an update for you guys on a seller financing deal went bad, because they do happen. And I'm going to share it with you guys because most people wouldn't. But I'm going to share with you the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what we do here. So I will share that with you guys next week. Guys, have a very Merry Christmas. We might try and do something as a family on Christmas just to share with you guys. Don't have to watch it on Christmas. But we'll probably try and share something because we are all very grateful. And I think it's very important that we share our gratitude about how blessed we are to have the lives that we have. I think about my grandparents, having come over during they were just children, but my great grandparents leaving everything behind in Ukraine, and traveling all the way across Europe, to escape the Bolshevik rebellion, and watching them get out, spend months, leaving everything behind, spend months getting across all of Europe to then finally end up landing on the shores of America. My great grandpa, so that's who my son's named after. My son's named Samuel. That's after my great grandpa. And he didn't speak very good English, obviously. And they had this tiny place in Jersey City. And he would go down to the newspaper store or newspaper plant where they made the newspaper. He would go down there and he would buy them for half a penny, and he would sell them outdoors all day long for a penny. Winter, rain, snow, sleet, whatever. He would do that, and just to make a half a penny a paper, just to afford life for his family. Eventually that became successful. He opened up his own store, and sent all 3 of my grandfather and his 2 sisters, sent them to amazing colleges, Juilliard and University of Nebraska. All were very accomplished: concert pianist, concert violinist, and a dentist. And that's the way those people worked and worked hard. So I'm all for legal immigration. Not that this was supposed to be a political speech. They came in legally. It was a very painful process, but they stuck. They achieved the American dream. None of them really ever had any money. My grandfather had more money when he died than he ever had in his entire life. Not necessarily really how I want to go. But I remember being in front of my grandfather and, man, if you poured milk in that cereal bowl, you better finish that cereal and you better finish that milk. I was like, well, I don't drink the milk. He goes, you're certainly going to drink that milk. I said, why? He goes, because you poured it. He goes, otherwise you're just wasting it. Whew, that was hard, man. He was a hard man. But made me better. Made me respect what we had, made me respect my things, made me respect myself. And so I would just encourage you in this Christmas time, reflect on how lucky we all are to have the lives that we have. It doesn't get much better than this, guys. I don't care what any chart says about how we're the 130th, best country in the world. Bull. I see no one else with lines at their borders trying to get into another country. So I wish you guys all the best. I love Christmas. I love Thanksgiving because it's in the name. But like I said, be grateful for what we have, be grateful that we can create opportunity for others. And that we get to live in truly the greatest country in the world. And one that if you work hard and you sacrifice and you push, even a ninth grade dropout can get there. So, Lin Tang, yeah, it's awesome. Boot camp was absolutely fantastic. Matt is amazing as always. Oh, thank you, Lin Tang. I like I said, I'm always humbled and honored to be a part of your guys' journey. So, Iron Ice, former Canuck. I love Canada too. They're really they're having a hard time of it. So I feel bad for our brothers in the North. They're having a hard time of it for sure. So, but grateful for our country, grateful for my family, grateful for you guys. It's been an amazing journey. I'm so thankful for you. And I hope you guys all have a super Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever else you might celebrate. But I hope you guys have a great end of your year, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Take care, everybody. Bye.